enrich your family abusuamu nkomo a yedin na awotwe bia no ne nenso yede ebremu. Bidin di osofo JK Amoa. Ameni agye se ne wode wafidie no ato hase yi no join ye wo Zoom nkomodie so. Ye wo nipatitru bi enne ono na obe present amayen. Na onye ohoho ewo ye program yi so wota eba so. In fact, o hwe ye previous videos so yedi bi akọ YouTube na obehu se the very first YouTube live stream ye no ye nua bay na yes our presentation. Now menka say Ivy, maybe you haven't thought about it. That time on IFS 29 there were glitches. Now 1 year ni, in fact 1 year exactly 1 month. Now it drew 1 year because the pastor and me celebrate live stream in 1 year. And I say yeah, na celebration de nyame papa anyama de papa, but exactly a year and March. Into 1 year 1 month ni and na ye kasi free Zoom a call ye de live streaming aka ho ye stream award no ye de nyame asese after that no wa baso abe present on several times. And now the award Brian also what to being said benefits of cultivating gratitude in our families. Should I say you will be a ni so de nipa ye mayen na ye da se ye aye ye manipa hunu say ye ni so ne awo ye mayen no na ye kan ya no nye se hyetirima eboa abusua bebre pofu nkoda ene mpanimfo wonim se ba bia ye nyini ye no Ivy nya sa na ye tete ye o mumu de mutra ye na me Ghana na November yi na me my sister ho my sister pani me kwa ya na wona me wono oye software and na that ko yi din ko say and me kosa wona no aduane me right I say I don't know more aduane bia na we bi I say thank you just say you new to her and I'm saying well so what am I aduane adi mani so agi aduane no and also buy my hair just say be akra ma wa I say thank you be ma say thank you I manage home pa again yes I need to tell you and should I say and it has become part of me intina say on wa observe say me no pa but we be ama na odas no e ma meso nkranche Ivy you be or master's degree in mental health. And CTTS not there be a busa opinion so me refi. Enti my bompire ma na fi what take you over why. Erade do say nenso ama Ivy Opoku-Nti. So oni e medi nkomo e wo abusua emu nsem. So say ni wasiesie bia no fa no so na fa dom ye why. Na siesie enso ya koma na adwene na ye nsua na ye ntasetase aba ewo mu na ye mfa nko ye busua mu. Sharo na ka no ho e wo Yesu din mu. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Pastor Nyami in show papa ene jima pa oye to help enrich families in such a time as this. This is such a needed platform to help enrich our families. Into Nyami and Koso na on show for what you're doing. For me on Zoom, any on YouTube. Yamamunina Akwaba today. I'm just going to share my screen very quickly and we'll jump into our presentation for today. I'm excited to be here, Pastor. Thank you for the introduction. My background is in public health, master's in public health, and I also do provide counseling for addiction, specifically on tobacco addiction as well. And so today I'm very excited. It's always an opportunity, a blessing for me to be here to share with you what God has provided for me. So this topic is a topic we don't often think about. And I said, we don't often really take it serious or understand the essence of it. And see, my hope is that by the end of NA discussion, you will leave here with a renewed understanding about this topic of cultivating gratitude, okay, in our families and in our daily lives. Now, you can't cultivating something. We're really talking about how to acquire or to develop a skill. All right. Now, gratitude, sometimes it doesn't come natural for some people. There are some that it comes natural and it takes practice. Now, Yahu said, when we practice gratitude, it actually allows our brain, a brain to release a chemical, your friend, as serotonin and dopamine. And so when those feel-good chemicals, as we call it, they're also referred to as neurotransmitters. When SAR chemicals, when it's activated, it does help impact us, our mood, our motivation, and our well-being. So there are so many benefits when it comes to cultivating gratitude. So today, and for our topic, I want to focus in on what is gratitude? In more depth, an attitude of gratitude. No, I see a trust. And then we want to hone in specifically on the science behind cultivating and expressing gratitude. We see that there are a whole list of benefits, and it's holistic. Okay, the research is out there. So I'll be sharing with you a lot of research throughout the presentation to convince you about how important it is for us to really cultivate this in our daily lives and with our families. And then we'll wrap up the conversation and our presentation today by putting all that we talked about into action. So I challenge you at the end of the presentation on ways that you can begin to implement this practice of gratitude. And even if that's something you've already been doing, I hope that the presentation will help reinforce it for you, and perhaps it will build up more momentum so that you can continue to practice this really awesome technique. And I said this act. So today, again, gratitude. So let's define it. Yenka, a little bit about it. Say a Share Oxford Dictionary. The term gratitude is defined as the quality of being thankful. I said, readiness to show appreciation. And I said, readiness to show appreciation for and to return kindness. Yahu said gratitude, it promotes optimism and helps us to develop a more positive outlook. Very grateful, or people who practice gratitude, they tend to be very optimistic in life, right? We know the opposite of that is pessimistic. So people who tend to practice gratitude, they're very optimistic. Now, oftentimes we use the word grateful and thankful interchangeably. They're similar, but they are slightly different. And I want to set the tone for our conversation so that you have an idea of the difference. A little difference, not, and this is so thankful. The term thankful, defined as feeling pleased or relieved. That's an emotion. Being thankful is a feeling, and being grateful is an action. Okay, so based on the definition of Medima earlier on, it's really an action-bound type of word. And so I love this quote by the Swiss philosopher, your friend Henry Frederick. He coins this thankful and grateful in a very nice way. Thankfulness is the beginning of gratitude. Okay, it's the beginning of gratitude. So if you put it on a scale, thankfulness is here and gratitude is there. It's the beginning of gratitude. And gratitude is the completion of thankfulness. Thankfulness consists merely of words, but gratitude is shown in acts. So gratitude takes it a step further. It takes it up a notch. Now, when we say the attitude of gratitude, what does that really entail? Making a conscious effort. So show gratitude in your daily routine. Okay, you are intentionally showing gratitude each day for all that you have, regardless of how minuscule, how small it may seem. And so what it does is it allows us to adapt a mindset of abundance over one of scarcity. Okay, or practices the attitude of gratitude. You are adopted a mindset of abundance over scarcity. You've tuned in, you kind of switched your mindset into looking more on the positive side, right? Naturally, we have this natural inclination to be more negative sometimes, right? We say negative news tend to spread faster. But when you cultivate this type of practice, you're intentionally adapting that mindset so that you're looking at things from a glass full sort of perspective. Okay, so if you have a glass and say how much is in there, a personal attitude of gratitude, Becca said glass is half full rather than half empty, right? Because they have sort of adopted that positive mindset. And so a person with this positive attitude will look in the cupboard and they would say, and if in the cupboard, all there is peanut butter, jelly, and ipano, peanut butter, jelly, and bread. They would say, well, a person with the attitude of gratitude, they will make up a mean sandwich with what they have. A person without this gratitude, they're going to complain. They're going to say, oh, there's no food, there's no food, there's no food. Or they're going to find a way to kind of mess up their mood because they're looking at this from a different angle. Okay. And when we see things, it helps us to see things in a positive light, even when dealing with a struggle or in a less than ideal situation. Or what attitude of gratitude. When the doctor tells them you have 10% survival, your prognosis is 10%, that person with an attitude of gratitude, they're going to take that 10% result that they've gotten and they're going to run with it. Okay, they're going to run with it. But when they don't have the attitude of gratitude, they're going to really galvanize more on the 90%, right? And what happens, let's say, for example, when you're sick, you're really looking, you get a news such as that. When you get a news such as that, it's going to affect your mental being. It's going to affect your overall, just everything, your mental health, because you've been told that you only have 10% survival rate. Okay, so this is the sort of the concept behind an attitude of gratitude. And even in the Bible, where we see different instances of gratitude and thankfulness, again, interchanging that two words. In 1 Thessalonians 5:16-18, it says, rejoice always, pray continually, give thanks in all circumstances, for this is God's will for you in Christ Jesus. All right, and this is even a biblical principle. Giving thanks, being grateful is something that God expects for us to do. Now, there's a song that many of you probably know, regardless of what denomination. I want to count your many blessings, name them one by one, and it will surprise you what the Lord has done. There's something about counting your blessings. The more I'll be counting your blessings, then your eyes and your mind become more awake to other blessings that you probably didn't even tap into, and I say you didn't recognize as opportunities or as blessings. So now I want to begin to talk a little bit about some of the science behind cultivating and expressing gratitude. So we're going to look at 7 different things that that tells us that we're getting benefit from when we cultivate gratitude. So the first one is you make more friends, you build stronger relationships. It strengthens the relationship between couples, improves physical health, improves psychological health, helps you to sleep better, reduces aggression, and cope with trauma. Right? So let's look at the first one. You make more friends. When you say thank you, just like what Pastor was saying earlier, when you say thank you, it actually makes people like you more, and it tells people that you are well-mannered. Believe it or not, this very simple sort of idea or thing, it makes an impact. Nowadays, when you come across people that are so well-mannered, it's like a breath of fresh air, because we're living in a time where etiquettes and mannerisms, and I hope that much. You rarely see people being very courteous and being well-mannered and etiquette, especially when you're dealing with young people, children, right? There's a lot of rudeness. So research is telling us, that thanking someone actually makes them more likely to seek a long-lasting relationship. Who would have ever thought, right? Thanking someone makes them more likely to seek a long-lasting relationship. We know that a researcher said that saying thank you actually provides a valuable signal that you're someone with whom a high quality relationship can be formed. So the mere fact of just saying thank you, people see that you are worth someone who they can have a high quality relationship with, or that they can establish a high quality relationship with. All right, so the second point, strengthens the relationship between couples. So this is a relationship marriage platform, right? This is for you all, right? We know that showing gratitude for the little things, your partner will do for you. And showing gratitude for those things in a relationship actually boost feelings of happiness and romance. It actually boosts feelings of romance and happiness. So it strengthens relationship between couples, and it showing gratitude. What we do know that is it helps people find and remind and bind themselves to others who seem to care about their well-being or their welfare. Those with grateful spouses. So if you have a grateful spouse, they tend to feel more connected with their partners and satisfied with romantic relationships. You're more appreciative of what you have. And we see that showing gratitude, it's a very impactful thing that when it's cultivated in our daily routine, it helps to grow relationship, right? Everyday interpersonal gestures, they can be a powerful tool to grow your relationship. Sometimes we feel like, I would say, our spouse or our partners have to do extravagant things for us to be appreciative. But the simple things that they do, even taking out the garbage or something else, we need to be appreciative of these things because they do actually make an impact. So now let's look at the third one, which is improves physical health. So there is a very strong correlation of gratitude and physical health. So physical health is strongly linked with gratitude. There was a study that was done, and in this study, enrolled about 1,000 participants. And those 1,000 participants, they ranged in different, from ages, teenagers up until 80. And what they found, and this was called examining the pathways between gratitude and self-rated physical health across adulthood. Almost said, are generally grateful. They reported feeling healthier and had less aches and pains than others. They had less aches and less pain than others because they reported being grateful. Now, those in the study, those who keep gratitude journals, I don't know if you heard about gratitude journals, but those who keep gratitude journals showed an improved heart rate variability, which is considered a measure of reduced cardiac risk. We know that heart disease is a major killer in this country, right? And so in the research, they found that a gratitude journal is the practice. Gratitude journal actually help improve their heart rate variability. So for those who don't know, gratitude journal, it's basically helping you to, or allows you to write down things that you're grateful for each day. So you list the things that you're grateful for. And what this helps or does for you is that it helps you to become more present, more mindful, and more aware of the things that you are grateful for. And that's the things that you have around you. So you begin to see more things that you're grateful for as you're continuing to list it and write it down. It's kind of like when you buy a new car. You know how when you buy a new car, let's say you buy a Tesla or a Benz, right? And all of a sudden you start seeing more of these cars around you. And it's not like they weren't there before, but we'll drive on the highway, then you start to see more of these cars. But it's not because they wasn't there, but now your mind has become more conscious of these cars that are around you. And before you wasn't even realizing it. So as you continue to be mindful about the things around you that you're grateful for, you see more things, right? I remember a couple of months ago, our boiler in our home stopped working, and only cold water in the air, no hot water. Okay. And so every day for about 2 to 3 days, when we found out that the boiler went kaput, we had to work on getting a new boiler. And see, before getting the boiler, we had to do the old school way. We had to get a bucket, boil water, and put water in it. And that was the routine for about 2 to 3 days. Okay, the Ghana style. We had to do for about 2 to 3 days until we got it. And in the morning and then evening, you had to do it for the kids and your husband. And it was just a process that was tedious after a while. And so when the boiler started working and the shower started, we started being able to use the shower, I was like, praise God for the shower. There is power in the shower, because now you realize, in the absence of it, you realize how much you need it. And so once you got it, you realize how grateful you are to it. So as we continue to recognize different types of things around us that are benefiting us, we become more grateful and we see more things. Like you have a magnifying glass of the things that are beneficial for you. Now, another thing, Yehu said, it's really linked with gratitude. The practice of gratitude is psychological health. Okay. It improves our psychological health when we're able to practice gratitude. Being appreciative of others also helps people to appreciate themselves, right? How amazing is that? Showing appreciation to your spouse, to your children, also helps people or helps them to appreciate themselves. And this is so important for, especially in Mfrano, when you show appreciation, and it helps them to realize and recognize their value, their important. So I love this quote. This is by a professor in the University of California, a friend of Dr. Robert Emmons, was saying, gratitude blocks toxic emotions. Okay, practicing gratitude, what it does is it blocks toxic emotions. Because remember what I said earlier in the beginning, that when we practice gratitude, it releases these powerful chemicals, serotonin and dopamine. These are feel-good chemicals, positive chemicals that helps with mood and motivation and well-being. So when gratitude is activated, when you're practicing gratitude, it's actually blocking these toxic chemicals, toxic chemicals like envy, jealousy. When you're grateful, you don't have time to worry about what the next neighbor have. Neighbor no toy, and I say fear will be a toy, and I say will be a busia, and I say will be ma or be ejima or yeah. You're grateful for what you have, regardless of how small or how minuscule it is. You are grateful. You have a mindset of gratitude. He said also, besides envy, it also helps with, it blocks resentment, regret, and also depression, right? And all of these things, Yanim said, it to me destroy your happiness. And especially if you're in a home, you're a married person, or even if you are a young person, you're not married, if you have these types of emotions, it affects you significantly. Okay, so when you're able to cultivate gratitude, it helps blocks these emotions, because now you're being intentional. And I am going to be thankful. I'm going to be grateful of this and that and what I have, no matter how small it is. So in continuing with that, Dr. Robert Emmons, he also said in the study that gratitude is related to 23% lower levels of stress hormones. All right. Are you stressed out? Well, you need a dose of gratitude. So the higher the gratitude, the lesser your stress. The higher your gratitude, the less your stress. So it's related to 23% lower stress levels. He says the practice of gratitude can have dramatic and lasting effects in a person's life. Gratitude reduces lifetime risk for depression, anxiety, and substance abuse disorders. Okay, we know that the pandemic has caused an increase in substance abuse, significant increase. Okay, depression, anxiety is over the roof. All the mental health counselors, they have a lot of work on their hands because there's a lot of people dealing with this. And it's a key resilience factor in the prevention of suicide. We see the suicide rate is very high, right? Last month, we heard about one celebrity, I think 2 people that committed suicide. It's rampant. And so even with COVID, it got even worse. And so we're going to talk a little bit in the next coming, or the few slides coming up, about resiliency and the impact of that. But these are some of the things that when we cultivate gratitude, these are some of the things that it does for our psychological health. So let's look at sleep. Well, if you can't sleep at night, then you might want to consider cultivating some gratitude. Again, the research tells us that cultivating gratitude, one of the benefits of it is that while relaxing, he's so relaxed. He's chilling in his bed. And so thankful thoughts can really help you get a good night's sleep. Thankful thoughts help you get a good night's sleep. One of the studies that was done, they interviewed 400 participants, right? 400 study participants. And again, their ages ranged from different, they had different age ranges. And so within those 400, they said about 40% of those people had sleep disorders. Now, you can sleep disorders, I actually range it in different things. They have different types of sleep disorders. Sleep apnea, which is one of the common type of sleep disorders, where when a person wada, they stop breathing, and they kind of pause temporarily, and they go back to breathing. A very scary type of thing if you've ever been around someone who has sleep apnea. And so in this study, they have 400 study participants that have 40% sleep disorders. And I know they have issues going to sleep and so forth. And they said that they showed gratitude being related to more positive thoughts. So a positive state of mind, in turn, was associated with dozing off faster and sleeping longer, right? Sometimes when you lay in bed, you go to bed at 9, you don't fall asleep until 10 o'clock as you're turning and tossing. Well, those people who are able to cultivate gratitude, who said, when they go to sleep, they're sleeping longer and they're able to doze off faster than when they're not. All right, so let's talk about aggression. Ooh, COVID has brought a lot of aggression in people, along with other things. But last year, some of you may remember, when you watched the news, you saw the domestic violence rate went up. Significant domestic violence, spouse, child abuse. It was so high. And we see that with regards to our topic, some people who are grateful have the propensity to be kinder and are less aggressive, right? So cultivating gratitude, it reduces your aggression. People these days are quick to clap back. Step on someone's feet and they'll give you a mean steer, okay? And so it's become almost like a norm thing nowadays. And so a study found that participants who ranked higher on gratitude scale, when you gave them a gratitude scale, when they ranked higher, they were less likely to retaliate against others, even when given negative feedback. All right, so even, people tend to get upset and rebuttal after negative feedback. But when they did the study, the people who had a higher gratitude level, they reported to having being less likely to retaliate against others or to even give negative feedback. All right. And sometimes when you come across people who are just so aggressive, you wonder what's the problem, And it's interesting. While I was getting my information, I was getting my research, and I said to myself, wow, if we can really implement this more, we would have less aggression in our society today, because there are so many People are on the edge. People are just on the edge about things. And if you're not careful, it can lead to a fight or something else. This professor, a friend of Nathan D. Wall from the University of Kentucky, would say, if you count your blessings, when you count your blessings, you're more likely to empathize with other people. And when we talk about empathy, we're talking about showing an ability to understand and share the feelings of another. And I said, would you share another person's shoes, as they say? More empathic people are less aggressive. More empathic people are less aggressive. So finally, I want to add this to this point, or to this section here, coping with trauma. So one of the benefits of cultivating gratitude is cope with trauma. So gratitude actually can help overcome a traumatic situation and helps to foster resilience. So when we say resilience, it's one's capability, and I said the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties, right? Sometimes we say, oh, tough skin, have a tough skin. Essentially, that's what this is telling us in sort of a nutshell. And we see that people who are resilient, they tend to bounce back easier in life about certain things. And again, referring to COVID has really caused a lot of problems for people. The job loss, death, other mental health issues. And so cultivating the resilience is something that is beneficial for people. And so when we see one study that they did, the study found that gratitude was a major contributing factor to resilience following the September 11th attack. Now, I'm from New York, and we all know, not just New Yorkers, around the world, we saw the impact, the devastation that September 11th had. And so when they did this study, they found that the study found that gratitude was a major contributing factor for those who experience or who had to go through this issue, this terrorist attack on September 11th. They also found that those who showed high levels of gratitude experienced lower rates of post-traumatic stress disorder. And post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, can occur in any situation. It's not just for soldiers or military personnel or veterans. It could happen as a result of a major accident, abuse, mental abuse, physical, sexual abuse, or whatever situation you have. So they saw that those who showed high levels of gratitude, they experienced lower rates of post-traumatic stress disorder. So now we want to put everything we're talking about, we want to try to put it into action. So this is where, if you are not very much into this, or you haven't really thought about it, I want to challenge you today, right? I want you to leave this Zoom room today with a different understanding of gratitude. And so we want to begin to implement it in our families. You can start doing it with your husband or wife or your children. If you're not married, you can do it with your friends or family or loved ones, just overall. Or begin just by doing it on your own. Think about 3 funny things that happened today. So today, try to reflect on 3 things that was funny. And then happened yesterday, and I say, yeah, it's funny for you. It could just be one thing. It don't have to be 3 things. But how did you feel? How did those things make you feel? Now, another thing to do with the families, what was your favorite part of the day, or what went well today? You can talk about it with your family, a chit chat session. What was your favorite part of the day, or what went well today? Was it when somebody was really nice to you, or they opened the door for you, a stranger did something for you? All of these things are helping you to grow your gratitude, because you're really honing in on certain things that happens in your daily routine that you can find to be grateful for. One of the things that my family and my children, we do every day, we ask each other, what are you grateful for today? We have to list 3 things. And sometimes the kids, they say the funniest thing. And it's interesting just to hear them recognizing that they're grateful for sa idea we say. Oh, and sometimes said this is what they're grateful for, that they should be grateful for this, but they say it. So this is a practice that we want to do. Also reflect on an aspect of your life that you're grateful for and how your life will be without it. Think about an aspect in your personal life, in your family life that you're grateful for. I dealt with me at your I benefited in your own life, your family's life, and how your life will be without it. Also think about a difficult life encounter and how that situation has strengthened you. So remember when I talked about attitude of gratitude, a person with a mindset of gratitude, they're going to look at the cup half full, right? Sometimes in life, situations come to strengthen us. It may come off as very negative. And I say, and about so, our about so, and that's some negative situation. But even in the midst of can you find the silver lining? Can you find that thing that you can galvanize on it, hone in on it, and use that as a gratitude, a benefit from it, right? So think about a difficult life encounter and see how that situation has strengthened you. And then finally, now again, I want to say this is not comprehensive of all the things I've written yet. This is just an idea to give you some type of way to begin. Write a letter to your spouse. If you're not married, it could be to your family member, and that's a wodofubi, or your children, a loved one, and let them know how they have impacted your life. How they have meant, how they have impacted you, the significance that they've had. Send them a message, or even call them and tell them that. Sometimes we wait until it's too late, but begin to incorporate this into your daily routine. And I tell you, as you continue to do that, you will definitely reap a lot of these benefits. And finally, I want to leave you with this quote. Gratitude turns what we have into enough. Gratitude, it turns it into enough. You're satisfied. Okay, you are satisfied. You are grateful. Gratitude can transform common days into Thanksgiving. This is a proverb. Gratitude can transform common days into Thanksgiving. Turn routine jobs into joy. If you could switch your job, you would. But you're finding that silver lining. You're finding that positive thing out of that job. The fact that you have a job, that's important. That's a positive thing. And changing, I'm sorry, I can't read my screen for some reason. the opportunities into blessing. Changing opportunities into blessing. And again, all ordinary opportunities into blessing. I promise I can read. And so all of these things will help you to cultivate the practice of gratitude. And so I hope that Kakaya King will help begin to activate some certain interest in you so that you'll be able to begin this journey. And even if you have been doing it, which is great, if you've been doing that, then you can step it up a notch and continue that momentum with this practice or this act of gratitude. And yeah, Pastor.
Thank you so very much.
Questions and answers.
I am so happy. That's very Ivy. Just say, what about Bemuye say a gratitude no. And yes, I'm a dancing one. So I'm a tiepa and not just say a so even Obi I then I can't thank you now. And yet it's not bad. Just say it is a beginning of gratitude. According to quotation now, a quote now or the Emma. And the member a woman betty no quine. And now you can unmute yourself. Not question be our one comment be our. Many will last, I took a screenshot. I was say, last quote no. Na need you na tolebiana edeniame diagro. Or say, gratitude turns what you have into enough. Naturally say, yemfa say wo sika na esua so na say o ma wani gye ho say wo sika no say it becomes enough for you. Exactly. Because you think of it, say, okay, be another example. Say the fact is, say, utimi nanti no. Now no. Maybe if we say mitimi nanti, I am not crippled, but menisca. But the fact is, say, utimi nanti no. You are better off than somebody who is paralyzed. And that should be enough for you to say, thank you, Lord. I am poor, but I can walk. And to carry that attitude, say, I should be praising God. I should even use little that I have to help others, because even though I am poor, I can walk. I can go from point A to point B. There are some people who don't have that. And me gwene ho say Ivy. Say, na me be breakfast, which was mid-morning to a brunch. And I may bumpire and say, ready. I know that right now, as I'm about to eat, there's somebody running for her life in Ukraine, trying to figure out how he or she can get out of the country and doesn't know what to do, where and who to go to. Inti media magina ha na menye wa aduane amebedi a awurade metose. Na me se boa me na menni obi hu ne. Na me se me mboa no. Sa no ne yaka ho asem ne no ho. Okay. If we place it in the context of abusuamu, yeah, I be musa bra mo aka ne na obetimi abusa question o. Me hu nsa pa me meja me de no. Yes, inji Ivy. Sa me ba say a kwaba na me fa so I express gratitude to my child.
Yes, very good question, Pastor. I think that letting them understand more value, no. Say, it could be so, well, wash your dishes, and I said, well, wow, to do something around the house. You can reaffirm what they're doing by thanking them and letting them know. So when you saw and so we saw they're gonna find this sense of like ownership. They're gonna be happy. They want to do it more.
Yes.
They want to continue to do it because they see that mommy and daddy values their mayor and they value what I'm doing and they appreciate it. Even though I'm young, they appreciate it, and it's gonna encourage them and it's gonna boost their morale as well. So yes.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think what can pa memfa bi nka ho. More so no menu ye kan mo 2 months aswa. Contribution bi a will be just bring it. We need to learn from the most of the amusian if you know Ivy. I will say ya na wa adwene bi say sakoda hohuru nkuku mu, like you just said, when they do dishes, it is expected of them. It's a chores. Why should I thank them? Yes, Anna, we pampering them, we spoiling them. What would you say to that?
Yeah, it's interesting that you said that. I was having a conversation with someone the other time. I think we're teaching the kids to learn to do chores. And so you thanking them is helping them to understand the importance of what they're doing. It's not that you're pampering them or you're making them feel like, even my daughter, every morning she makes her bed. I teach them, make your bed in the morning. And I say, oh, thanks for making your bed. It looks very clean. It's just helping to boost and encourage them.
Yes.
It's boosting and it's encouraging them. You may say that is their chore, but more to do it and to help them. And kids, they need those motivations, and saying thank you and us saying those things, it motivates them to continue to do it. So I would say it's not like you're spoiling them or you're pampering them. It's actually just helping boosting that, so that when they grow, because they see the value in it. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I like the way you are putting it. I mean, explaining it. I think it's another reason why we should do that. And so you are teaching them to develop or cultivate the attitude of gratitude.
Right.
And he said, if I do it to the child, I appreciate and I express gratitude for what they do, who they are. Sometimes it doesn't have to be on what they have done, but who they are. And they're saying, for being a good kid.
That's right.
You need to just look at the child and say, John, you know, I am very happy. And I think not only happy, I take it as an honor that I am your dad or your mom. The fact that when we go to public places, nobody complains about you. Nobody comes and tell me that your son was running around or bullying people here or shouting and jumping over the pews. I am very happy that I am part of you. How would that make the child feel?
Yeah, they will feel they will feel very proud. They will feel happy. And if you give them that positive, you know, affirmation. And kids, they thrive on those things. You know, even with my children said, they want to do more. When you say positive affirmations to them, and it kind of encouraging them in those type of ways, it really does encourage them. It kind of puts a big step in their, pep in their step or something.
Okay.
So yeah, very helpful to them. And even for the couples, Pastor, say when my husband acknowledges something on my I was like, oh, okay, you're welcome. Like, it makes me feel happy that he recognized and that he recognized what I did.
Exactly. Ohini ma come ba so na ayi wonso de na wo no de aboy ohini ebra wo gina wo mo ano ho. I'm glad say they are to the context of relationships. So I want to say again, just like the Kodano Diana Mekai say Oba no aduane ma ne kunu. If you listen a responsibility, right? We take it for granted.
Yes.
And I think say in this place we Oba no aduane no senior ma no bread no kitchen to put something together for me. So I know some maybe me yo and let's see before some about this my kuku no come on. So
that's wonderful.
You feel and let me take it day off. And no so community in your planning say or your ministry be a non-Adventist, non-Christians, no a pet church be say any church. No one is for Nakasa said, can we honor this person for me? And they say when you be num and or ne, I sorry be a hassle for Kasa into Koshiano. Into buy no see or Biki. So I've been here working on my personal stuff because I took the day off. Into Obeki no also me to recap a pharmacy, Hayaba. Into buy and I'm making because I'm some surprising. So buy and I'm why do you do that? I was coming back to watch. I was like, you don't have to. And teacher say, thank you, honey.
That's romantic.
Say, how does that make me feel? Next time, no, I want to do it again.
That's right. It encourages you. Good job, Pastor.
Oh, yes. Into Wahine, I was all the other saying, Ohini Mako, you can't gratitude. So that we ukuno uma asi. Did I also the boy me?
Pasa me de boa ne say enye even ye man ne ye no man ase ye busuafo kwa. In life no say wutimi enya that gratitude ayinwa. Boama baby I wouldn't be no even you yourself you get recognized.
Yes.
Enti one kasanso no ebeboa ama amanfo hunu nipa woye. Na when nipa bebre nipa je ho say wo recognize niema enkitu bia omoye especially Say ye war and sorry ye leadership now. Ye war. A nipa bi no mo ya say ye subordinates. For instance, me you me youth choir.
Yeah.
Say me youth choir no eye bribia na say omo bi ya yibia eye negia. I will say meeting so many na meeting da wo mo ase na kine bi no aboa ma say wo hia wo mo a of onkan kra na wo mo ye dey eba enti in general no attitude as ye pick here baby a ye nambia no ebeboa ye ama for any age yen so ye ho that's it. Na sabi ye da se pa wo adisia wo de ama ye enwure nyame insha.
Yeah, or hene enko because what can number busi be can be brown say the name kwana na de call we are youth choir, we were youth choir director, a leader. So now say young people will know and then you know more had or me busy pa the mere fact cross obenya one mama better ho asua dwom no a challenge. And you imagine say why choir practice na bi kra dakro on say or can say gratitude no it's not only mere words but action. Can and you ever said dakro oh banana wa fa pizza shop bi no to pizza on be choir practice na wa ba na wo dia be you know na no ye lunching or no bronze moto dwuma nyame ayeye ni na ase kan ndi mu ni pizza how would they feel hene
Masa omoni beje pa na da we here wo mo no wo mfre wo mo kra no mo ba because one bim so be ye ni yi a o chine bi wo ba obetimi asade bibi foforo asan abre wo.
yes
And very important. I also me adapt to say ye near. That's it.
that's a pa anti abankwa pa cho koso ana uwi ana anti estaba
Pasa me de no am he can be fa adwuma mu on say ye team worker nipa no beboa wo e kwan a wo fa so a wo appreciate no wo frɛ na no waba na so beboa wo fa no say wo na ye adwuma ti a o se meba and face o maya untimi because o no so ni nipa no beti ahwenti no o be manage ya say ohun so ye ma wa ese so ye nti na wo so wonyenti and face nurses ni bi so ho a say ye kɔ iduma no nese wo mo ya ye sienefo no ya de no kanfo a wo hwɛ wo ma ni nipa ntilhwe da because o tihwe a wo de pon ya o de paper nto anim tro incident report wo twa wi a wo kɔ but on na better no be frɛ family or be frɛ doctor obey ayi nyina but then na wo kɔ da wo de wo kɔ na sense se ye hu se nipa no ya no ne ye kama ye bibia o kanfo ye nya ye bɔ modi se ye be boa no ma no susu na dwuma ye de aye mre na fe ye pon ani ye nyina oh thank you ladies let's all go ni ye nyina yes bye ni enti ma me hu se say ye kanfo ye ho a e de wodoba e de nkabo mu bi so ye de eba even awade mu die no nko ampa eda wa adwuma mu so saa e boa ma abibia so yi stress so yes to say de wo kan if you because who ko adwuma ma wo yam nhyehyɛ yet nurse we na no be adwuma oh okay de be kosu bia onim say da no wakoma beto wo yam nti adwuma wo be ye bibia be kɔbɔkɔ na wo de awie but kakra mpese me ka wo hono no
that's pa mama just say wo kan asem no ma aka me de bi and yes we are na me de aba and yes I will bet me akoso
okay Papa Chow, my question is as we are talking about instant expression of gratitude, what about delayed gratitude? Because sometimes you haven't realized the depth of the extent to which they did that thing for you, but later in life you realized it. An example, they say, growing up, we think it's our parents' duty, obligation, some of then you go and live on your own, then you realize that, wow, oh my dear papa. And you realize it's not a responsibility per se, but they went to certain extent to do certain things for you and can answer somewhere. And at that moment, no, is it okay, say, though I chat there, but can I still go and express how grateful I am for all that they have done? And not just with our parents, even with our friends and all sorts of relationships we have. is delayed gratitude okay? So the be enko say manda na say instantly ninti action ninti minyi meni ana say
Okay.
menko so na menye yeah.
Ivy.
Yeah.
Hello.
Very. Oh, me kasana. I think it's not Matilda voice.
I made a question to me tomorrow.
Okay, so
Hello.
to answer that question, that first of all, that's a very good question. But I would say it's never too late to express gratitude. As long as the Nipano are alive, they're still alive, they're living. It's never too late. And sometimes, unfortunately, when somebody does things for us, we may not realize it. And like you said, later on in life, then you recognize the importance and the impact. How it has affected you. So once you realize how impactful it has been, you just need to go to that person and give them the thanks and the appreciation they need. And see, it's never too late. I would say that would be my response to that. It's never too late.
Papa.
Me pacha me the kitchen be come home.
That's one.
Yeah. Oh, say I ma a war time no. Say well who ya na ma me awo. Enti e bi kura wo nkai. Na da me wo ye me wo me first born. Na me ma me bepio me see me na me nie wo me tim se was ma me na me edu baby na me ye me twitwi fa no so kakra bi na afa bi this eye me say me mam no na me tafre nanim because me who say me ma me abre papa the way akwara ne che ya ansa na opia ba no me say eh say awo yes ne ya na me sorry na me brofo me ma me so sa no enu ti me fa akwa bi so say me bedu kroma ne de me ya ne say me ma komo ne me ma me da eka ayi kakra bi kra such I have to share with my mom. Ama ono so hum say de why me no na nsi me ka chen say me fa akwanya bi so say also oda mase am say de we ye ma me bebrebe metimi na wase nwi me na wo say me da wase nti ma no hu say me gusu ada na se da bia nti yesu betumi afakwa bi so sa da bi wo kwa ne birthday dura ne nyina atwahia na ye di ne fefefefe abra na ni na so ne bia gift bia bi kra bi wo ha hu say na ni gi ho pa bi ne ya to ne ya wrap na fe ye di amano em say sa nso so mom ebema wo hu say de wa ye wo da nyina no wani da so gi ho achoma no asi
That's a pa.
Sambacho metima kakakra.
Yeah, I just say also.
Antipasa means to them they can only say yeah try say be cultivate habit be say be part of us.
Yeah.
Into no say ye delay no dear no a hono dear e bia ye back to my start to say ye be yesua into ye ka say ye boato a o china nye ye dia say oh ye the parents ye mfato ho a so the oma me aye wo nyina na wabu ani agusua sa ekopim say why so successful betu ani no oni ho that is too late enti chese ebia meda wase oh the why de mani age ho ne man kitingiti nyese bia wo ye ansa na akosi dan amame ana so otoka amame ene chese enye no ho asem na yeka eye habit bi a ye adwene ho se ni yenim sabra ye hui ye nsua ne sabre ebi say obi betime appreciate de why na kitu se de nyina ka hen kitu na wo ye ni se eboa no ma wo go a step ahead of progress onu na beboa na am na ye more na what delay sa akra no ye nyina ebi ye na efiga na ya bahan ebi a ye nua bi a ode ne ba amire bi esuban bi oyi na de ntino why wadwen say umfa unua bi e mabio na sa akire na nipa na realize say say bra oboa me pa na ye too late ntino ebi a eno de eba esi ehu say esa ye mistake. But yen try say ye be cultivate habit bi a da biara da de ekopem say that ye be prove say na eniema nkoye ntina na ye nkitenkite no but say no e dey fully you say ye so grateful. Me dey toss answer question. My question is say enie so ye bi mu bi no ka say as dey nyame dia say dey attack no na no swear. If you say yes, a becker your honor beboa me a more. but I say obi diasia na I see a twetwe ho yes that the media and obi okra one I said obi say no so don't worry now I say obe brushing off say o chance one ya e bia still I be ha no kakra kwan bi so
Yeah.
enti eno no so ye be kan say ye to mama ye nyina di adwene si so say ye kasa na ye ka but say ye
I'm saying my Canada is a fake imposture thinking. You need to say I my own kwanza.
Good. It's a very good question. You know, as you were talking, I was saying like sometimes and I think what I think when I say that is all the praise belongs to God. It doesn't mean that I'm not receiving the thanks, but I say I'm giving the praise back to God. So when somebody thank me, then I say media. So maybe I could be wrong in this one. If you're Pastor Wasa, you might have to help us on this one. But I think so we can't start term, and that's how we make it that statement. I don't think that you're wrong. They're really just kind of giving the praise back to God, which that's where it should be, because you know, in him we live and have our being. And so we that was you kind of put it back to God that it was because of God. And so we can't start. That's what I would think. But you shouldn't brush it off. You should take it in. But at the same time, no, I would say that they're saying is nyamia dumuntina otimi. Yes, I did.
Yes.
Wow. So yeah, but yeah, good question though.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I want to say, yeah, you should can say fake and as a false imposter syndrome. No, I say once you'll be out to me, yeah, baby. Now we can say, oh, nyamia, oh, nyamia, take it. Yes, I made that pa na se dan come nyame. So nyame na my nyina holding. The aya say, I say, so be do was 1, 2, 3. Na one year se dana. Now my conclude is that way on pass that. Ain't ye chile we bibia? Yes, I will pass it down. Not one fast down, man. I feel no who's other on your appreciated than now. Ain't there's nothing wrong to say, I said, that would me na JB so now so ain't you crying. Is in your man for so enna or joy. A very important part. Me who saw him in South, yeah, Casa bring to Monon Casa or Henny. Until Maggie, I'm so Casana, what into a Henny by my mouth crying.
Yeah, Pastor made that celebrate. Say, I bra. I said, Bisana say, all can about say, ye day, I said, done a menyame. Yet me, bribi, when yamia will say a day. Now, can you who no boy me ye? Na said, what can ye? I said, I no menyame, I'll say, ye and so. Ye, is as a one nam, nipan sasso, at a yadia. Now, a ye back one, the person make about bed 2 weeks. Na me wo ho a na me ne me wife cry wo phone so and me who said me ba boy no no school or friend enti me ya na mka che ma me say na na friend enti ma me join no enti fortunate for me no na me fa no be kan ye call no ho na ye FaceTime na wo ba ye no na se mo de ba ya na say oh o sorry anopa no onyanko school na wonya ni TB Odware wasiesie ne mpa so na wohwe oti ne table ne wo didie no wakai se eye obi na amananya that no enti opese wo frɛ no da ase fa pastor akala no ka asem no ye mienu nyina ye din na ena mesi o medase pa se wakai ne nyamea ye na afi ne aye nso yaye na erade adom eno amaya hode ame yetini aye nti no manage owie ye no oda ase wie na on de okoye to okoye na ne ma me bi so sa na osidi nti na obeda ase na me ka se asori America waye ne tea wasiesie ne mpaso wotena konwam na ohwe de wu a wasie nya duane bi die no wakai se yi obi na aboa na ma ba bia waduru nya sa de no obeda ase no school. That was nice of him. Inti maya dwindwene ho na ewie ye na mesan friend na me nso mesan da na say ne wa ye titu saa de na obeye wo ni maami anim no at least ayade a me mani so even though na onim say me ne maami ne wo so na dwene ye ne say nka wo frame wo wi a wa frɛ wo maami nso no wada wo nso ase na onya ye mienu nyina at the time pastor yade a if that week no me dwene ho na almost say me friend no every day enti senia ayi na sister edikan church acheye no se obi ehunu nia obi aye no oda na se a eboa ma wo ankasa no wo ya de no dodo ena ayi late aseda no a na auntie suggest no anytime I obe realize no enye late that was the moment aka wo no wahunu ni nipa na ye emfumso ni ho ensese wujai enti eka wo a ewose wo ye enti yesu ano ewose yesu a ewo ye mu titru yawfo ewose ye kai amosome nkunu bi a ye maame ekari ye spam bi a ye papa bi di ko tu ba bi impo se wan tena ye bremu kura adomu no waye bibi ewo ye mu enu de o se ye kaye na ya appreciate na besa nyame ebehira ye nso nti medase
that's pa minim Ivy so comment bi ansa na yakọ antema giswa.
It was well said, so we can go to the next comment. Yeah, thank you so much for that contribution.
Nanka o kasa na emse opani kasa enti se o pese o da so kasa. Okay. Ebra wo siesie no ho no. The numbers make an Ivy. Me a young man, me could be people teacher. Nimsa wo nim the people teacher na sekira. Ghana untrained teacher. Untrained teacher na ya fa na chese o kira de na me kira de we kura bi ase. Na me kura na se no me free krom. Okay, me timampon na me kira de okofi ase. At that time na ye kura ase. Na de se ekru kese. Enti na me kodwa da na ma Friday. A few weekends na me dino. Na me kire primary 3 and 4. Na kire primary 6. Na esan say the na ye say womu anan koda no they go to the farm and collect firewood, right? Normally abegu ye fie. Na me me sister panini kire de. Tell bi so a mo di people teacher and I mo di teacher am kire de onkrase ni nyina no. It happens a lot. Na bi so na ma konsuo na mo de abesisi efie nti wonim na me kosko na me da o mase of course and no ngire se oya bibia me ntwa na ba ho okay but the na me yo ne se me ba krom na a weekend na me Monday na ma top ano bread mo pe krom bread so pa nti na ma to bebrebe wonim se for a while for after some time eduru Monday bia na me call class and no more hwese me kura me bag na bread come. Oh, and he not only said it caused them to always look for it, but also they did it more. In fact, I feel some of them became, although I was their teacher, they became personal friends. And they know, I mean, 4 years ago, I went to UK to do family life. I know how back home. We have a story about. I mean, who you miss? Osa could be on channel. About say, "Unkame na ache uchema dio kufiasi primary 4." Na adie bia na wotaye pa. Say, "Pa no na de pa no na de." You don't know. Say Monday inti overtime na Monday me bese metum because bia na de pa no abakla so. Inti but yeah, you know. Now, even over this is probably over 40 years ago. Okay. Oh yeah. And me meetings with England, I be free honors. Saturday and you me we. Why ever point about saying let me do come fee. Just me or them call you say what tons are friends. And why ye mini party beyond no beyond dinner. Oh. Was me teacher new. Boa me pa, you see me ukru me trade na e ono na oboa me sa. E to da bia You don't know how it will help somebody. Gratitude will be. Me gidi say, idea. Me they call baby. Tell baby, nam baby, I good. But a idea we shouldn't take for granted. So when we read that, na oma wanijia. Don't I say? Ana I me boy.
And a crack,
Yes. I saw catch and say Ajua and Quia. Would de. Yes, I mean nothing wrong with that. So once I try to be say, oh, I am a responsibility. No, Sana Ukunoso Emma in bed. Let him know. Hey, because I'm gaso ya my own so tiapo. Pa. Okay, next time on tiapo view. About tiapo pa. And Sana Nina no bois. I said, American, I said, Bia, Ukunu ye, a hard-working person. Oh, he's trying his best to say, or share Busiano. The fact that, or you're caring, or loving, or hard-working. Don't wait to saw better flower amount Valentine. Sometimes, once in a while, and frequently, take some time and say, Joe, and now we cry, Jane, I really appreciate you as a person. I mean, the nyame say, "Wona nyame edewa mame." If you say we are caring, you are lovely, you're very sensitive to my needs. You are my children's mother. You take care of our kids. Sometimes you make it. You do things at ease and get difficult. And mommy feeling good. I just want to appreciate you. And I thank you very much. Now, like Ivy said, as she said it, and for one on one, that room, now, why you get away surprise be? Was it be a Yankostra to Ivy say, auntie or Maryland? Was it Yankostra me auntie or Maryland? Oh, a be an auntie in crowd Nimho, now Kunu, why Buku Hotel be? Now then Korana come ma or sister. Now was a Kosra auntie, me auntie. As a son, you may mu Ukunu driver was address no hotel address no who names say hotel now the no. Who are not be see hotel be any. What's going on here? Oh no. We just want to auntie will come here very shortly. Now what check it in. What's the question? You know, you are a very kind person. I just wanted you to come and rest. And I said, well, Ajua, I know you work hard. I just wanted you to come and get some rest for the weekend. Unyi said anybody. Really,
idea. A good one.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, I was saying I'm gonna try that. I have to try that.
Yeah. So just as our kind, it's not only words.
Yeah.
But they should be backed by actions. Now, Bombay nyame and kaya home, and then you bring and common no ayende. So be any be our hobby. You about 8 minutes, but young Casanunti a media. I have learned a lot. Also, I can stress says so. Ukodana, you know, to me now, and you're not gonna ubi home. Express gratitude. A papa. Now you're going through a lot of stress, you don't know. Don't think about your misery, but think about other people. In this context, make us say what we want to be one a year. For want to be one head the nyamia yamame, and you know why ye chair me. What the make how say nyamia shirame, you kunu me or yiri me or ma me wa jumayo. Oh, I said, say you are always looking for an opportunity to appreciate, to express gratitude and thankfulness to somebody. A jumem, or quite a jumem. I'm sorry, be a canning be our supervisor, be crowing mean. You need to find a nice way to say, you know, I thank you that you give me an opportunity to work with you. Gratitude changes hearts. They disrespect you. Now, who said you appreciate them? They begin to think, say, why? I thought this person didn't like me. And then the Bible says, yes, I know the jasrama eguna pampe. Ivy, I will give you the last words to, if you want to have summarizing statement and a concluding statement. Yeah, and Sania Bompaye.
Yo.
Yeah, I'm passing by John Campbell, the kitchen will become.
Cause why?
Yeah. I don't say it can't be so impany for say, Obi Boa Pampa Moi, or Sissin will come on Casema Comu. I thought the big cry, Obia, a quabi son, not all year, I be additional, said the okay. Teacher be a quabi so now, wouldn't say. On Pawa 17 and all year or so, and Palabrim, Yama, men to be a domo ye, Ubacasa no high, but ye ain't any more. I feel say, send our boame. I was a saquano, so you want ye da or moise. And found one of the other firm be a more din, a more yenam. A more quabi soon, baby, will be you can fit into every society because in Kabi and Kanya San Casabra and Kabibua and Kabama do baby ubesu when in Naho. But what year was Sano, a ma a hon Cynthia no sabasa, and found one of the Odia will be a senior a bra, Safon, so you don't want to.
That's about men come back and son I be me ba ha krum ha foforo na me near conference be amfa. I was a volunteer pastor. I volunteered to help for almost 8 months. Now software be ambeto na ha. Now he took me under his wings. One of my friends, no elder, to introduce me to software. And I know 2 churches. Ghana, sorry, Sabbath school branch. Into I say, John, can you preach here for me? Can you preach here for me? So, and I did the best I could at the time. Tidakromi ohana frame said, "Memene down papa." Frame said, "Yoko ninia neiria bema wu New York." Inti a president not for permission to mean choir baptism. I mean preachy, na minya baptism, na minya communion, na minya baptism. Na me kokoyo. Inti a couple weeks, about a month later, Ohano Freeman was a pastor. I have an appointment with the conference president, with you and him. Or mommy time na mikoy. Mikoy na say now I not going to introduce me to the conference as a volunteer. Now what can they do to help? When him said this quasi interview, and then I'm met for 24 years later in this conference. The pastor knew me from nowhere. No, me baby, and or no, or Dimeko introduced me. Yeah, President McCoy was to tell me a little bit about yourself. And I make a comment who has some. I said, we'll get back to you. Until about 2 months later, I'm not sure. I said, we want you to be an associate to Eastern, you know. Into my friend on Machian, my friend Machian. It's about 6 years ago. Just I dana say, but 6 years ago, more I'm so sure. Papa, we know me, baby. He knew me from nowhere. And it was even a risk to introduce somebody who didn't know very much. Into me, home say, me sending a baby kakra. Into my friend, no, na, my friend Machian. Our friend, we are told we are past our African day, near day. Name, yes, a pet Sikaka crime, maybe share with more. And I'm a friend of Jane address, na Nelly Command. When him say, Onyayin, na a week later, the crime cousin in Sankai, and no friend me. And I say, Pastor, you don't owe me anything. Let me tell you, I did what I think was right. And you have never stopped talking about it. And I just want to know, sir, you to know, sir, I too appreciate your gratitude. means also a shimming crime. I mean, that's a no, you know. I'm saying you don't owe me anything, but I'm telling you something. This time last week, when you sent me this gift, you don't know what I was going through. I may hear it or yari when you stroke. Menuya ewu. Yenyanya yi no meso me mama yari seriously. De odana nye. Me baba ako at the hospital me no kase. O say eno no munti na mintimi frɛ. Na de ekeka nyina no me insurance de but isi kasem. Nti for you to think about me at this time, you don't know what you have done. But God will bless you. Only God can bless you for what you have done. But I want to repeat, say, you don't owe me anything. I did what I needed to do at that time. Teacher said, appreciation here very good. So because time in the BC, no best, I mean, free. So you remember somebody has done something to me for me. Once another lady no can say delayed. And I wanted to change it to make it late. Because delayed, you're not just wash it, right? But late, you didn't have the opportunity yet, or the appropriate time may not have presented itself. And so when you come to your senses, say, mommy way, oh, teacher way, oh, bra way, me will be because I may come you will be in your dying need, and then Ipakrono came to your rescue. Think back. The moment that the person's name comes to your mind, find their phone number wherever they are, go back and say, you know, some years ago, this is what you did. Also by a blessing to that individual. I'm sorry, Miss
That's okay. I thank you for that testimony, that experience you've shared with us.
Yeah.
It segues into just concluding. There's a quote that I live by. I love that quote. It's very personal to me, by the late Maya Angelou. And she says, people will forget what you said.
Mm-hmm.
People will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. And your example that you gave is a great reminder that even after years of what you've done to someone, the gratitude you've shown, it will still have an impact on that person. So as we go through our day-to-day actions, our day-to-day routines, let us cultivate this attitude of gratitude, because it has such a big, great benefit, not just on ourselves, but on other people. May God help us as we try to live and implement the benefits, and I said the attitude of gratitude.
That's a brave, Ivy. I know that you will come back again.
I will. My God.
Let's have a view. It sounds said, addition of the Mayan Imudo ye pa. Yo minianum any na ye be bomb pie, the Nadia so abba ye. I mean, so again, share it with somebody. You have a friend, you have another extended family member, you have a co-worker, you have a neighbor, you have somebody on your WhatsApp group, your WhatsApp contact, so your phone contact. Take this presentation, send it to that individual. It will be a blessing. It be also your way of expressing your gratitude. What video you could be common no no sweaty. To me, I'm already. Yada was pa ne. Wame ni ajibio. Nimdia odi ama Ivy. Wama onoso ni yen ache. Ma yen sua aseda ni ayeye. Nkamfo. Esan se ebra Yesu sa akwatafo no yade no. Obusa se na moye edu na nkro aka no wo hefa. Na kire sa aseda ehia. Enti boyema yang sua sa spirit to cultivate this attitude of gratitude. Ewunyame usuban, it is your character. Boyena yang so yemfa mobra. Me de Ivy shawon sase shrano pa. Ma ensini ye. Manu nimdie bebre. Sani obetimi so de aboye nshira one ni kunu ne womma na won so ma en si won yie wo asetena mu wo ma ba de yesu nyina no so hira yen na ma yemfa saa ne mai enkobo yembra yesu di mu ne yeso wadom mu amen ene enianom
Amen.
ye ne yakobio no